And welcome everyone to today's class. If you'd like to start your playlist with me, feel free to do so. It's located in the group chat. And all our donation information is also located in the group chat as well if you'd like to take a look. We'll start the class. Our first pose will be child's pose. Big toes to touch behind you, reaching for the front of the mat. Working with breath. You're sitting back into your hips. You're pressing the hands onto the mat. And just feeling how this pose lands in our bodies as we prepare to go through a lot of movement together. We'll come through tabletop, already stacking the joint systems. Wrist over shoulders, maybe knees a little wider than hips. Like how we usually like to start class, we'll warm up with some cat and cow tilts. Bring the crown of the head up, letting the belly hang soft. Pulling belly button back to spine, rounding upper back. And working with breath, maybe inhale cow, exhale cat. We can to warm up the spine and the abdominals. We know how much we all love to do abs during power classes. Take this at your own pace. And finding some stillness, meeting back in tabletop. And I'll face you all for this. We're going to practice threading the needle now. Let's just lower the camera here a little more so everyone can see the mat a little better. Very good. So from our tabletop position, I'm going to inhale and raise the right arm up. As I exhale, I'm just going to thread the needle underneath the left arm. Reach to the side of the mat. Maybe placing that left hand out in front of you or on your lower back, opening your chest to the side of the room. Some very light abdominal warming up here. And some heart opening as well. Just take what you need from the pose. Placing the left hand down onto the mat, reaching the right arm up, placing it down on the mat, switching sides. Inhale the left arm up, and thread the needle. You're either reaching the right hand to the front of the mat or to the lower back. Staying with our breath. And to get out of the pose, placing the right hand down on the mat, lifting the left arm up. Nice last little pectoral stretch there. Bringing both hands down to the mat now. Coming into our sunbird position now. I'll start my left leg out extended behind me, my right arm forward. Remembering the heel should be level with the hip. So I do it from a side angle here. Option to stay here or bring elbow to knee. Driving through the heel, reaching forward, extending. Elbow to knee. Extending. And this is going through your own flow. Working with breath. Remember, the vinyasa flow usually teach breath with movement. Vinyasa means. Going back through tabletop. Maybe moving the hips a little side to side, but my left hip needs a little extra warming up. I was doing squats over the weekend, so definitely added to how I'm going to practice today. I'm switching opposite side now, driving the right heel back, extending the left arm forward. Remember, to help with that little bit of extra balance here, pull your belly button back to spot and use your Uddiyana Bandha. Gaze to the front of the mat. Option to stay here or come to that crunch flow. Finding stillness, coming back through our tabletop position. I'm into a forearm plank now. Interlacing the fingers, coming into that plank position. And coming forward on the toes. You can just put your knees up or down, whatever you want to take from the practice, please. Make the modifications you need. Remember, this is your practice. Here we're going to come to that dolphin pose, remembering to hug the sides in and the pulling through the abdominals. Exhale, slowly coming into that forearm plank. Zipping up through the abdominals through that Uddiyana Bandha. Hugging the sides in, hugging the elbows in. We'll do it 3 more times. And back down in that tabletop position. Up on the toes, coming to our first downward facing dog of the practice. Remember, this is the first one, so if you have any tightness in your hamstrings, feel free to have a good bend in your knee. Use your hands to really grip the mat. You wag your tail a little bit. Pedal the heels, taking whatever you need from this pose. Walking our feet to hands, hanging in a ragdoll position. Hanging elbow to elbow. And you're resting your rib cage right in your quadriceps. The important thing is whatever you choose to do, whether it's a regular forward fold, a ragdoll, or that rested one, to really create that heaviness in your head. And your thoughts fall out from the top of the crown. You're not in the head side to side, up and down, creating circles underneath tip from the pose. You're finding stillness in the neck, rooting down through the feet. Inhale, reaching and rising. Hinging the hips as we forward fold. Again, and that same sensation, and I always like to cue it like this, the same sensation we did when we were doing that dolphin pose. And to zip up through that core, kind of give our hamstrings some extra protection so that the hamstrings aren't doing the work here. As we come into our halfway lift, also remembering shoulders away from ears, extending the crown and head to the front of the room. Exhale, forward folding. A couple more half salutations. Drive through the feet, inhale, reach and rise. Exhale, forward fold. Up through the core, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Driving through the feet, last one, inhale, reach and rise. Hinge at the hips, forward fold. Going into our halfway lift. Hands to the mat. Coming with our right leg out first. Just giving our hip flexor time to adjust. Nice easy stretch. Maybe if you want to plant that knee down and lean into it. And then knees up or down, bring the left leg back behind. Pushing forward, hugging the elbows in as we lower. Inhaling the back bend, trying to knock around the water with my head. Going back up on the toes, pressing away. Downward facing dog. Walking feet to hands. Inhale the halfway lift. You know this flow by now. Hinge at the hips, forward fold. Press through the feet, reach and rise. Hinge the hips, exhale, forward fold. Zip up through the abdominals, halfway lift. Hands to the mat. Left leg back to a runner's lunge. You can like that knee down option to kind of lean into the hip flexor a little bit. Feel free to do so. Whatever you choose to do. Knees up or down, coming into that high plank. And again, pushing forward, keep those feet nice and active, right? Lowering. Back bending. Pressing through the tops of the feet. We come into our upward facing dog. Pressing away, downward facing dog. We're going to go through that flow again without the hip flexor stretch. Now walk or hop feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Reach and rise. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to the mat. Either using the jump back or get high through low plank, any which way you choose. Pushing the hip flexors forward into the back bend. Shoulders away from ears. Curling back up on the toes. Pressing away, downward facing dog. Really building some fire now. Walk or hop feet to hands. And then might be because I have my AC shut off. Inhale the halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Press through the feet, root down, reach and rise. Hinge at the hips, forward fold. Up through the core, halfway lift. Hands to the mat, high to low push-up. Inhale the back bend. Press away, downward facing dog. One more time, walk or hop feet to hands. Inhale the halfway lift. Hinge at the hips, forward fold. Press down through the feet, reach and rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Either using the jump back or coming through your high to low plank. Anytime you want to skip the vinyasa, feel free to meet us in downward facing dog. Walking or hopping feet to hands. Adding a few more poses to our sun salutation now. Start with the halfway lift. Sitting back into chair pose. For as much as we can. It's helpful since I have the video. Knees over ankles. Like having bowing in your lower back. Use your Uddiyana Bandha, belly button back to spine. Excellent. Here for a couple breaths, especially since I did squats on Saturday. I don't want to stay here too long. Exhale, forward fold. Pressing through the feet, inhale, reach and rise. Hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, the halfway lift. Always bring your shoulders away from ears as well, creating length in the spine. Hands to the mat. High through low push-up. We're going to skip the vinyasa anytime you choose to, or meet in downward facing dog. Bring up the right leg in the three-legged dog. Stepping to the front of the mat. Coming into crescent lunge. In crescent lunge, your knees over ankle. And then I'm going to have my heel right over the ball of my foot. Bring your hands to heart center. Twisting to the right side of the room. Remember, depending on how it feels in your hip flexor, you can lower down that left leg as well. Not sinking into the leg, pressing it away with your tricep. Option to open your twist. Either reaching to the mat or opening across your front leg. Gaze is either to your thumb in the ceiling or to the front of the mat, whatever's more comfortable in your neck. Bringing both hands down to the mat. Coming back to our high plank. Going through our chaturanga, meeting in downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Step it to the front of the mat. Coming into our crescent lunge. Very good. Inhale, hands to heart center. Twist to the left side. And not sinking that leg, pushing away from the quadricep. Option to open our twist. And really working our oblique here. Taking conscious breaths, because it's very easy to lose our breath in twisted poses and balancing poses, right? Both hands down to the mat. Left leg back, coming through our flow. We're meeting in downward facing dog. Walking or hopping feet to hands. Inhale the halfway lift. Sitting back into our chair pose. Remember all the same cues as before. Forward folding over the legs. Running through the hands, inhale, reach rise. Hinge the hips, forward fold. Inhale the halfway lift. Hands to the mat. High to low push up. Inhale the back bend. Or knee in downward facing dog. Bring right leg in three-legged dog. Bringing right knee to right elbows, floating it over. Pressing the heel back. Right knee, left elbow. Again, the obliques evolve. Drive the heel back. Stepping forward. Coming back into crescent lunge. Maybe trying a different thing with our arms this time. Maybe cactus. Maybe hooking the thumbs, doing a light back bend. And whatever's calling to you right now. Inhale your regular warrior one arms. Inhale, reaching through the fingertips, hands to the mat. Coming through our flow. Equaling out on the opposite side. Left leg, three-legged dog. Floating left knee, left elbow. Drive the heel back. Left knee, right elbow. Drive the heel back. Step forward into our crescent lunge. Nice to be here for a couple breaths. Maybe playing with those arm variations. If you want to do something a little different. Cactus or goal post. Regular warrior one arms, whatever you choose. Inhale, reach through the fingertips. Hands to the mat. Come through your flow. Walk or hop feet to hands. Inhale the halfway lift. Going through this again. Sitting back into our chair. Forward folding. Sitting down through the feet, reaching and rising. Don't mind me. Having no AC on is a fun way to do power yoga. Exhale. Hinge, you get the hips forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to the mat. Coming through our flow. Meeting in downward facing dog. Very good. So similar, usually we bring up the leg in three-legged dog here. I want you to skip a step here. We're just going to bring right knee, right elbow. And hover it. Using our core to keep nice and strong. Placing the right foot down on the mat. Coming right up into our crescent lunge. Awesome job. Our hands back down to the mat. Vinyasa, or meeting downward facing dog. We do the same thing on this side. Float left knee, left elbow. Step the foot to the front of the mat. Coming into our crescent lunge. Here for a breath, reach to the fingertips, hands to the mat. Come through the flow, or meeting down facing dog. Now either using that variation again, Or bringing the leg up in three-legged dog. Step up to the mat. We're just coming to regular warrior one now. Knee stacked over ankle. We're going to come into a humble warrior flow now. Very similar to a, kind of referred to as like a standing crunch. So we're going to inhale, reach to the fingertips. Pull belly button back to spine. So we do that, we're going to hinge at the hips. And this forward fold. Still keeping that core nice and tight. And let's take that at your own pace. No one to keep up with, maybe doing eyes heavy or shut. Often referred to as a moving meditation. Being back in warrior one. Reach to the fingertips, hands to the mat. Coming through our flow. Meeting downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog, or using that other variation if you choose to do so. Stepping to the front of the mat. Starting with our warrior one. And remember, nice closed hips. Square to the front of the room.
No, stop.
Starting with warrior one. Remembering to have our mics on mute if possible, excuse me. Starting in warrior one, inhale, reach to the fingertips. Belly button back to spine. Hinge at the hips, coming into our humble warrior. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, humble warrior. Let's work between the two poses. Some people like to work with mantra in this pose as well. You think of like 2 words, maybe 2 syllables you want to use. Leaning back in warrior one. Inhale, reach to the fingertips, hands to the mat. Coming through our flow. Or meeting downward facing dog. The choice is yours. Hovering over to a high plank. And remember, you can always just, we're going to come to a side plank. If you prefer, lower the left leg, almost like a kickstand. Center that left hand to the middle of the mat. And come into your side plank this way. You can even lift that top foot. Kind of add a little difficulty to it. Otherwise, let's extend both legs. Nice alignment, arm to arm, shoulder to shoulder. Maybe lift that top foot. Whoop. Slowly coming out. Back to a high plank. Just so I can face the camera. I'm going to switch sides. Remember, bringing the knee down is always an option here. So this time, be the right leg as a kickstand if you choose to do that. Otherwise, from a high plank, center the right hand. Turn right over on the ankles. And lift that top foot. If you really want to do it. Almost like a 5-pointed star. Slowly coming out of the pose. If you really want to come through the vinyasa. Knee in downward facing dog. Walking or hopping feet to hands. Inhale the halfway lift. Exhale, coming back into our chair pose. It's going to be one of the last chair poses, guys. Bringing hands to heart center. I'm going to start by bringing the right leg back into crescent lunge. That's a really good strength pose. Requires a lot of hip stability to kind of step back from chair into crescent lunge. Inhale, hands to heart center. Twist to the right side. And the same rules apply. Don't sink into the leg. Press away from the leg. If you want to open your twist, feel free to do so. Both hands in front of the front foot. Launch off the back foot, coming back to chair pose. Hands to heart center. Stepping back the opposite leg. Coming into that twisted crescent lunge. Remember to stay with our breath. It's very easy to lose it. Option to open our twist. Lowering both hands to the mat. Stepping back into a high plank. Coming through your flow or meeting down facing dog. All right, great job, everyone. We're going to come to three-legged dog on the right side. Step to the front of the mat. Coming into crescent lunge again. Flattening the back heel. Coming into warrior two. I know we did a lot of work in the previous classes. We want to do a little less of it this time. Open the palms up, reversing our warrior. Deep inhale to that right lung. Not losing integrity in that front knee. As you come up, you shouldn't be straightening that front knee. Have it I see often. Coming through warrior two into our extended side angle. And bring both arms out in front of you. Pressing through the feet back to warrior two. Straight in the front, slight bend in the front knee, not completely locked. Pulling to the front of the someone's grabbing your wrist. Lowering the right fingertips. Having a nice alignment, one arm to the other, one shoulder over the other. Coming into our triangle pose. Lowering the left hand. Opening to the right side, coming to a twisted triangle. And both feet planted on the mat. They're pressing through the back edges of our feet. Slowly come out of the pose. Both hands down to the mat. Coming up on the ball of the left foot. Pressing the right foot back. And coming through our flow. We're meeting in downward facing dog. Opposite side now. Left leg, three-legged dog. Stepping to the front of the mat. Coming into our crescent lunge. Just here for a breath. Flattening the back heel. Nice heel to heel alignment. I like resting my feet right up against the side of the mat. So my left edge of my foot, and the left corner of my mat, my heel's right on the mat too. That way I can feel that kind of tightrope sensation, heel to heel. We'll come into our warrior two. Reverse our warrior. Come through warrior two, forearm quadricep. Stand in the front of the room. Bring up both hands to our extended side angle. Drive through the feet. Warrior two. Straightening the front knee, pulling to the front of the room with someone's grabbing your wrist. Lowering the left fingertips to the mat. Shoulder to shoulder alignment. Coming into our triangle pose. Right hand to the mat. And pressing through both sides of the feet. That's our twisted triangle here. We're going to take conscious breaths here. Pressing through the feet back to our warrior two. And cartwheel your hands to the mat. Coming through your flow. We're meeting downward facing dog. Awesome. Great job, everyone. Just going to check on the time. Want to take a quick child's pose, you can. They have a quick sip of water. And we're here in downward facing dog. I'm going to hover over to a high plank. And as slow as I can, I'm going to lower down to the mat. So I'm completely flat on the mat. All right, great job. We're going to come into Locust Pose. I know I usually cue with the arms on either side, almost like a skydiver. But this time, if you want to continue to do that, please do so. But just to change it up a bit and work the lower back a little more, I'm going to do it with my hands behind me, my palms facing the mat. And remembering before we lift, the closer our big toes are together, the more intense it's going to be on our lower back. And if you want to avoid that sensation, open the legs up behind you. So coming into the pose, inhale, locust. Working a good up dog in our chest. Slowly lower. We're going to come into a second one in 1 second. Inhale, locust. And slowly lower to the mat. Press through the hands. I'm gonna come into Camel Pose. I like that back bend so much. I feel like it's really accessible to kind of all levels here. So I'm gonna start my left hand up. I'm gonna do half camel each time. And then I'm gonna reach my right hand to my right ankle. And as I lower, I'm not just gonna lower kind of like at the hips leaning back. I'm really gonna press through. I'm gonna create length in my hip flexors here in the front and squeeze my seat. And squeeze your glutes. Pressing the hips forward as I lower. Slowly and carefully coming out of that and switching sides. And I'll do it facing the camera this time. Inhale the right arm up. Or come into the full camel if that's what you can do. Left hand, left ankle. Mind me kind of slipping on my mat here, it's kind of slippery. If you see, I'm really pushing through my hips, side lower. Slowly, carefully coming out of it. You lie flat on the mat. Just kind of windshield wiper your feet back and forth. Look at that lower back relief. Finding stillness. Pressing through the hands and feet. We're going to come to our pigeon pose. Right leg, three-legged dog. Bring it to the front of the mat with a good bend in our leg. Coming up on our fingertips first. Sitting back into our seat. Nice proud pigeon here. And then slowly lowering over the leg. You really should feel the stretch, especially your on the left side. Your hip flexor, creating length there, and you're squeezing your seat in your on the left side, so you feel a nice contraction in your glute. And on the right side, your glutes don't want to stretch. And your hip flexors are closed on the right side. And to come out of this, coming up on our fingertips, coming up on the heel, on the ball of our left foot. Drive that right leg back and switch sides. Left leg, three-legged dog. Bring the leg out in front of me. I don't like my leg out in pigeon because the knee really can't bend too much that way. So I kind of have it nice and tucked in. Do however you like. That's my personal preference. I think it's much more careful on the knee joint that way. And press through the fingertips and back into your seat. Slowly lowering over the leg. Again, same thing here. This time on the left side, creating length in the glute. It's getting a good stretch. Our left hip flexors are closed. And on the right side, we're creating length in the hip flexors, and we're contracting the right glute. And to come out of this pose, coming up on our hands first, onto the ball of our right foot, bring the right leg back, and back into our downward facing dog. And before you guys think I forgot about it, we're gonna do some abs. We'll start by lying flat on our back, so that diamond shape underneath our tailbone. This is for the comfort. Kind of like Charlie Chaplin or kind of penguin your feet. Create a nice V shape out of it. We're going to do some leg raises. So we'll do 30, 60, 90 legs. So start 5 inches off the ground, hand and feet off the mat. We'll come 30 degrees, 60, 90. I think we really want to work the negatives here. And slowly and controlled, lowering the ankles. 30, 60, 90. Controlled lowering the ankles. 30, 60, 90. Lower. 30, 60, 90. Lowering the ankles. 30, 60, 90. Remember, shaking's good. Slowly lowering the ankles. 30, 60, 90. Lower. And all the way down, or just hug the knees to the chest. And we rock a little on the lower back. Finding stillness. We're coming to boat pose. We haven't done boat in a while. So from this position, kind of gently rock back and forth on your tailbone until you can just hold yourself up in the boat pose. Again, you don't want any rounding in the upper back. I'm going to pull through the abdominals. Arms straight out. One step further, we extend the legs out in front of you. I don't necessarily find that harder, but it's at least more different. If you want to do a yogi toe hold and press through the feet. I feel like this is more kind of like hip stability, hip balancing than anything. Kind of feel less in my core. I feel like some of my shoulders are doing some work there. Your leg come into this. To your regular boat. Remember to breathe. Don't think about the pain. Slowly lowering one vertebrae at a time. Bring your knees to chest. Again, rock back and forth in the 6 bones, sitting bones, until we can come into our next boat. Stand the legs out. Extend the arms out if you can. Working with our breath. Slowly lowering one vertebrae at a time. We'll do it one more time. Knees to chest to start. Rock on our sitting bones until we come into a nice boat position. And you're more than willing to, if you want to stay here, feel free. It's more than okay. If you want the extra, extend the legs out. Slowly lowering one vertebrae at a time, all the way in the lower back. And bring your knees to the chest, maybe kind of roll back and forth in your lower back. We'll do kind of one more ab exercise just to burn them out. Keep an eye on the time here. Very good. So, with our hands behind our head, we did this a few classes ago. We're going to kind of create that crunch position. What we're going to do is just kind of roll on our sitting bones, create very small kind of abdominal crunches. The smaller you can create them, the more they're going to be. Once you get to a good flow, I'm going to count down from 30. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. It's a great little burnout exercise. Our feet planted nice on the mat. Come into our bridge pose. We just kind of really worked on a lot of contractions in our abdominals. So let's give it a good stretch. Driving the hips up. Once again, we're creating length in the hip flexors here, and we're squeezing our seat underneath. If you really want to, interlace the fingers. Open your chest to the ceiling. Otherwise, your shoulders are tight as hell like I am. You can even just place your hands on the mat. This is a great exercise to do daily, especially if you do a lot of work from home. I've been in the office more so lately. These past couple of weeks, I have was kind of the start of the pandemic. But regardless, I still do spend a lot of time sitting down at my job. This is a great position to put our hips in during the day. Slowly lowering, one vertebrae at a time, controlled motions. Coming into Viparita Karani now. Feet to ceiling. Sure, that feels great after all those abdominal works, right? Just noticing here our hip flexors are closed. This is opposite motion that we were just in. Bring your knees to the chest. And let's do a double pigeon on our back. Put the soles of our feet touching together. Just bring the feet in to the chest as much as you can. You can grab the feet to bring them in like that. I have some pretty decent hip flexibility, so I kind of wrap both arms around like it's comfortable for me. And to make the stretch more intense, it's not really as much about how close you can bring it to your body. The higher you have your feet, you're going to get a deeper stretch. Obviously, the closer you have it to your body will help too, but this is a better position for your hips. They're higher up. Let's breathe into the pose. Grabbing the outside edges of the feet and peeling them apart, coming into our happy baby. You're more welcome to kind of rock the baby side to side. And not curling up in that lower lumbar and spine too much. We really want to reach that tailbone to the mat. Or that's the direction it should be doing. Obviously, it's really tough to kind of do that. But the point there is just not to be curling up in the tailbone. But the natural, as much as you can, the natural curvature of the spine with this pose. And lowering the legs. See how much time we have. Well, actually, we don't have much time at all, so let's lay back into our Savasana. Class kind of goes by fast when you're having fun, right? Palms to the ceiling. Working with our breath as we conclude the practice. Being appreciative for the amazing bodies we have and the amazing things we can do with them. And try and take something positive from the class, maybe something we tried differently, something we tried new, something we did better this class than the previous class. Just leave class today with a good positive thought on your progress and your practice. And awesome. Sorry to give you guys a short savasana today, but class kind of got away from us today. So we come into a comfortable seated position. And if you remember, all our donation information, our social media information, including Back Widow pages and my own, is in the Zoom chat. So I want to thank everyone for their donations and their participation in the class. Obviously, you know the donations are appreciated but not necessary. So thank you everyone for coming tonight. Bring our hands to heart center, bow and say namaste. And the last week's Power Metal Yoga class will be the last one. So I hope to see you all next week. Thank you.